Any man who wants to become successful in life must understand one universal truth: in order to grow, a man must first have a willingness to learn from his own mistakes, yet, ego and fear are perhaps the two biggest roadblocks of doing so. The two lead many men today into lives of suffering, lack of happiness, and despair, for some without a male role model. Understanding this concept is near impossible, because nobody is there to teach them in the first place. In reality, we all learn the basics as children. Things like right versus wrong, taking responsibility, etc., come naturally. Most of those ideas are hardwired into your brains from birth or taught so repetitively that we can fully grasp them. With that said, here are 10 life lessons every man should know about vacations, holidays, new toys, hobbies, entertainment, etc. all lend a hand at distraction you away from your goals. It's easy to get lost spending 5 minutes on Facebook or forums, yet when you do it over and over again, it adds up. Even if it's just 2 hours playing a round of golf, or an hour dinner out on the town, before you know it, your entire day is gone. In other words, wasted away. Focus on things that matter and are relevant to reaching your goals. If your dream is to build a house, watching Netflix every night for 2 hours isn't going to help you get there. Putting in real work will. You can either succumb to distractions or accept the sacrifices and avoid the temptation. This is an ancient proverb that was told to suggest that two opposing people can or should work together against a common enemy. It speaks volumes about the nature of our relationships. As long as you have an enemy in common with someone, you can be their ally. The only way to rise out of poverty, abuse, low self-esteem, etc., and turn yourself into a successful man, is by allowing yourself to overcome your past. Ultimately, you are responsible for all of your mistakes alongside every excuse you dish out. The world isn't a perfect place, and nature is a cruel beast that could care less about you. If you don't believe me, then walk out into the wilderness and see how well you survive. Most of you won't last more than a week. As a man, you are responsible for your success in life, no one else. Others may give you guidance, share wisdom, and inspire you along the way, yet, what you do with those two is entirely your own choice to make. Just because you were born into poverty doesn't mean you must die in poverty. Just because you were rejected by one woman does not mean you must analyze the entire event. Don't get trapped in the dark pit of overthinking. The pain and sorrow of losing a loved one will eventually pass. The disappointment and grief and being let go at a job will eventually fade away. The anger and frustration of addiction will turn to triumph and joy once your chains are finally broken. Rejection, breakups, the list goes on and on. Take quitting cigarettes, for instance. The first few days are terrible, the next month is agony and often, at times, torture, yet, within a few months, you heal. You might start researching the benefits of quitting. You might start to understand just how bad you smelled, how yellow your teeth were becoming, how much money you were wasting, and so on. Perhaps you may ultimately start to realize how important your health is, and begin working out, start cycling or running marathons. Suddenly you're channeling your negative view of quitting into a positive as one of the greatest things to ever happen in your life. Life is full of problems, most of which we don't even expect. When we solve smaller ones, even bigger ones appear right out of nowhere. You may be hitting it off perfectly with a woman, yet upon asking her out, you discover she has a boyfriend. You may grow your business tenfold by signing on a new client, yet finding employees with a specialized skill set to handle the workload proves to be near impossible. Start a business or start accepting the reality of working for another man. Many men dream of being their own boss, yet very few pick up the call and accept the challenge. Being your own boss isn't just about the money, it's about freedom, the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. That's priceless. The ability to grow your income based on the amount of work you put in is, simply said, seductive. Fear is simply false expectations appearing real. When describing rejection, people often say that it is the dismissal of a proposal or idea. The fear of rejection is often far more personal because you become the object of rejection. Once this happens, you begin to fear failure instead of focusing on trying to understand why you were rejected in the first place. The media isn't always about being honest or offering real solutions to problems, it's about promoting fear and profiting through the capture of mass attention, almost all of which is done while being one-sided. Unfortunately, public opinion often follows the opinion of the media to heart. Don't be a sheep. Far too many men in this world are misled simply because they choose to believe in what's easiest to accept. Many reject evidence and reasoning in favor of comfort and avoidance of fear from being proven wrong. Do your own research, don't be spoon-fed a web of lies. Teach your son and other younger males you encounter all the ways of life. If your son has a flat tire, do not change it for him, instead, show him how to change it by making him perform the repair himself under your guidance. He will remember how to complete the repair for the rest of his life and eventually pass on the lesson to the next generation. Had you just done the repair without him present, he may have never how to fix a flat tire, but more importantly, he may have never learned the independence nor pride that comes along with being self-reliant. The body can be pushed much farther than imaginable. If I put a plank of wood 50 stories up across 2 buildings, and I asked you to cross it for $1,000, you'd decline, or at least most would. You'd say it's impossible, too dangerous to even attempt, and so on. If your mother, wife or children were at the other end of the plank and it was life or death based upon if you could cross it, you can bet you'd cross it without any hesitation. Just when we think the body will fail, it continues to give and give. You may be exhausted after running 1 mile, but your body may be truly capable of running 5, 10, or even more miles. So these were the 10 life lessons a high-value men should know about. Let us know in the comments about your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, do like it and make sure you subscribe to the channel.